This tutorial will show you how to make the lamp shade. So looking at the working drawing, we can see that the shade is made of a revolve. Here's the centre axis, and the actual shape revolves round, so we need to draw half of the profile. The sizes are along the side, 130, 35 and 15. So we're going to add these together and start off by drawing a centre axis of 180. I can now go in with the line tool and draw half the profile. So if we go back to the working drawing, we can see here that the full width is 150, so we need half of that, so it'll be 75. The top here we can get from the plan view, diameter 70, we need half, so we'll need 35. So I'm going to start drawing that in here. Now at the top there is that radius 15 on the corner, so I just need to come over 20, then use the arc tool to draw in that radius. And then I can come down and finish off this half profile using the dimensions from the working drawing. With that sketch complete, I can now revolve this 360 degrees. Now I'm going to do the cutout at the bottom of the shade, so I'm going to start a sketch on a plane running through the model, press F7 to slice the graphic, and I'm going to draw the cutout shape. So it goes up 20 degrees from the base, and I'm just going to complete that profile so that there are no gaps, and I can now extrude subtract. Now because I drew that in the centre, I'm going to extrude in both directions and make sure the extents are changed to all. Now back to the working drawing. Next thing I'm going to do is add these ridges. These only go on one side of the shade, so only 180 degrees, and I can get the sizes from the detail view. I'm going to start by creating a sketch on the XY plane, pressing F7 to slice graphic, and I'm going to draw that profile on the edge there that I'm going to revolve round. I'm using the arc tool to draw an arc with a radius of 1.5. Just going to use the line tool to close that profile so there are no gaps. And I'm now going to use linear array to take that profile, that sketch, and repeat it in a pattern down a singular line going downwards. Now I've no geometry there that I can select to actually make it go downwards. So what I'm going to do is go back and use project geometry to pick up a line to help me select a direction. So I'm going to choose that line there, go back to linear array, choose my profile, and I can now use that geometry below as my direction. You can see the arrow is pointing upwards, so I just change direction to go down the way and change the number that I want it to repeat and the spacing. Now this is going to revolve, so I will need a centre axis, which I'll just draw down the centre here. Now I'm going to revolve all 6 of these, so I'm just selecting them all just now. Selecting the centre axis. And you can see it's currently set to full, so it goes all the way around. but the working drawing shows me that this only goes halfway around the model. So I'm going to change it to 180, and I'm also going to change the direction to put it on the correct side. Now, on the opposite side of them ridges, there are 3 holes. I'm going to create a work plane on the tangent surface here. So that means the holes are going to be on the tangent of this surface. And I'm just going to use the circle tool and the dimension tool to draw the 3 circles in the correct position. You can see here that I'm setting the size of the smaller circles to 4. The working drawing says M4. M stands for metric thread, so it just means these are going to be holes of 4 millimeters that have a thread on them. Now that the holes are drawn, I can extrude subtract. Now, whilst I was finishing off that extrusion, I realised an error, which I'll explain now. So I'm going to shell the model, leaving a wall thickness of 5 and removing the bottom face. But what I should have actually have done is made that shell before doing them 3 holes and before the revolved sort of ridges on the opposite side. But what I can do is go over to my modelling tree and just move the shell. So you can see here I'm moving it above the extrusion and above the revolve. So if you happen to create an error like that in your assignment, have a go at just moving the feature in your modelling tree. It doesn't always work, but it's worth a try before deleting or restarting any parts. Now I'm just going to finish off these holes by adding that metric thread of 4 mil to the top and bottom hole, clicking apply between each one. Now the last thing I have to do to my model is create the holes that go around the top surface. Now going back to the modelling, not the modelling tree, sorry, the working drawing, I can see that there are 8 holes on top, each with a diameter of 5, and they're on 30 PCD, which stands for pitch circle diameter. Just means each one of them holes are sat on an imaginary circle which has a diameter of 30. So I'm going to create one circle here, and I'm going to dimension it 15 mil from the centre point. I'm then going to use a radial array, selecting that profile and the centre of my model as the axis, change the repetition to 8, and I can then finish sketch and extrude subtract them. And here we have the completed lampshade.